Namaste, Hare Krishna. So we'll continue with the next verse, chapter 1, text number 8. Bhavān bhīṣmaś karṇaśca kṛpaś samitiṁ-jayaḥ Aśvatthāmā vikarṇaśca saumadattis tathaiva. There are personalities like you, Bhīṣma, Karṇa, Kṛpa, Aśvatthāmā, Vikarṇa, and the son of Somadatta called Bhūriśravā, who are always victorious in battle. So, in this Sloka, Duryodhana is listing out names, the members from his party. After mentioning some names from the Pandavas, now he is mentioning a few names from his side. So the way that he starts here in the Sloka is bhavān. Bhavān means your good self. So he's having the conversation with Dronacharya. So therefore, he's addressing him quite interestingly, because he wants to please him by giving the importance yourself, your good self. And he's quite sure that by mentioning Dronacharya first in the list, Bhīṣma or anyone else are not going to have any concerns, because he is Kulaguru and Bhīṣma knows the rules and regulation, so he's not going to be offended. Rather, he would prefer that Dronacharya is given the first respect as a Brahmana. So therefore, Bhavān has been mentioned here. And it is said that how these 7 names that he mentioned in the Sloka, each one have their own faults. And these are the people he listed out. So let's see what are the faults that these 7 members have, and how they will be helpful for Duryodhana. So the first one, Bhavān, is Dronacharya. Not sure whether you will support me or Pandavas is quite questionable. That's one fault that Dronacharya has. And the second fault is, this all as per Duryodhana, the second fault is Dhristadyumna was simply born to kill you. And he is right there in the opponent's side. So you have these 2 faults. Second personality is Bhīṣma. Bhīṣma made a promise that I will kill anyone and everyone in this Kurukshetra, but not these 5 Pandavas. And that's a person who's going to be supporting me in this battlefield. That's his fault. Karṇa, the third personality is Karṇa. Interestingly, he is very skilled. He learnt everything from Parasurama, but at the same time he also got a curse from Parasurama that he will forget the skills that he learnt from him when it's really needed. That's Karṇa's fault. The fourth is Kṛpācharya, Kṛpa. For sure he is afraid of this battle and to fight, especially against the Pandavas. So that's his fault. Number 5 is Aśvatthāmā. Aśvatthāmā. Dronacharya has taken a vow, a promise from Aśvatthāmā, interestingly, from his own son, that he will never supersede Arjuna, never show any act that's greater than Arjuna. So he's taken a promise from Aśvatthāmā, from his own son. Number 6 is Vikarṇa. Vikarṇa is one special personality on the Kauravas side, one of the brother of 100 Kauravas, Dhritarashtra's son. But he was the only one who was quite different from all other brothers. He was the one who was not supporting the Draupadi's Manabhanga when Draupadi was pulled into the hall. He was the one who was just not supporting that idea out of 100 sons. like how among the asuras Prahlad took birth, and among Rakshasas Vibhishna took birth, and among these evil 100 brothers Vikarṇa was born. So though he is on Kaurava's side, so he was supportive of Pandavas for their dharmic act. Bhūriśravā. Bhūriśravā is another personality who got a curse from Lord Shiva that he will not be able to defeat his enemies when it's really needed during a critical time. So that's a curse he directly got from Lord Shiva. So those are the 7 members that he lists out here, and that's his strength, unfortunately. The 7 members on this side are mentioned, and whereas in the Pandava side we already saw 19 members has been mentioned. But when we see the number of armies, the Akshohini, the Kauravas had 11, whereas Pandavas only had 7. Just to give an idea about what is one Akshohini means. One Akshohini means it consists of 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 109,650 infantry, that the soldiers or military unit that fight on foot, and 65,600 cavalry, the part of military force composed of troops that serves on horseback. So this is what the one Akshohini consists of. That means Kaurava had 11 such Akshohinis, whereas Pandavas only had 7. Though Pandavas had less Akshohini or army set, still what they had were the members of those less army were highly skilled and qualified. Whereas Kauravas had huge army base, but most of them are limited with their skills. Therefore, having less on Pandavas and more on Kauravas doesn't really matter in this case. A couple of things need to be understood from these numbers are the quality is more important than the quantity. We might have hundreds and thousands of friends or a contact in our phone database, but how many would be our to-go person in our life? How many will really be there at the times when we really need them? The people whom we have should be both willing and capable whenever we need. For example, I'm just giving an example. When I have a serious health condition, I am not going to go reach out to my old and dear friend and real well-wisher who's by profession an aeronautic engineer in NASA to cure me. Though he will be very happy, very willing, very honored to help me, but then he doesn't have a skill to cure me. His profession is not this. The reason I don't want to go to my friend who's working at NASA is because he's missing the second aspect, which is capability or the skills. On the other hand, there could be friends or people around us who are very capable, very skilled, but they might be not having the willingness to help for whatever reason it may be. Therefore, willingness and the skills goes hand in hand for us to have a right person on our side as friends. And we should also be likewise. The second point that we can understand from these numbers is when we follow dharma, we will be supported, should not be surprised. That's the nature of Kali Yuga, or in fact for any yuga. When we follow dharma, less we get support from people. In fact, we'll get more discouragement, not encouragement. And people might turn away from us. We might lose some relationship. But when we follow the other way, which is not dharmic, it's quite interesting that we'll get more support. People think that's because people usually get confused between what is dharma and what is adharma. They mix it up in many cases. But as a follower of Sanatana Dharma, we should not be concerned about the number of supports we get. Rather, we should be concerned to strictly follow the dharma. When we do so, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. That said, that dharma, when we protect dharma, dharma will protect us. That's the second point. And just to add on to this number is quite interesting that number 18, there are 18 volumes in Mahabharata, and Bhagavad Gita contains 18 chapters, and the battle happened for 18 days, and the total number of Akshohini, 11 plus 7, is 18. Bhavān bhīṣmaścha karṇascha kṛpaścha samitiṁ-jayaḥ Aśvatthāmā vikarṇascha saumadattis tathaiva cha. Thank you. Hare Krishna.